Welcome, rare gems. Some people speak loudly to be heard, others say nothing, yet everyone listens. There's something about a Sigma female that doesn't need to be explained. It's felt. You can't quite put your finger on it, but when she enters your space, the air changes. Not because she's trying to make an entrance, but because her energy is too real to ignore. She carries herself with this quiet certainty that says, "I'm not here to impress you. I'm just here to be me." Sigma females don't chase the spotlight, yet they never go unnoticed. They don't ask for approval because they've already given it to themselves. Their power comes from deep within, from the lessons they've learned in silence, the heartbreaks they kept to themselves, and the battles they fought without an audience. While the world rewards noise and performance, Sigma women operate on a different level. They've mastered the art of stillness in a loud world. They don't need everyone to like them, because they've realized something freeing. When you finally accept who you are, you stop negotiating your worth. If you're a Sigma female, you need to know this. Your aura isn't loud, but it's powerful. Not because you try to be different, but because you refuse to be anyone else but yourself. In a world that constantly tries to shape women into something soft, obedient, and easy to digest, your strength is disruptive. And that right there is your gift. Keep being unapologetically you. The world can feel it, even if it can't understand it. Let's dive in the rare gems. Number 1. They don't sell themselves. They reveal themselves slowly, and only to the worthy. That's not pride, it's self-respect. Sigma females move through life with an energy that isn't about getting noticed. It's about protecting what's sacred. They're not advertising who they are. They're observing, watching, deciding. Most people rush to show everything they have, hoping someone will like them for it. But Sigma females don't play that game. They understand that the most valuable parts of themselves are not for public display. You can talk to a Sigma woman for weeks and still not really know her. Not because she's hiding, but because she's deciding if you're safe. Safe for her mind, safe for her heart, safe for her truth. She has learned, often the hard way, that giving too much too soon only attracts takers, not builders. Think of it like this. She's a locked door, but not because she's closed off. She just knows that not everyone who knocks deserves to come inside, and when she finally opens up, it's not for drama, it's not for validation. It's because she sees something real in you. That's rare, and that's exactly what makes her presence unforgettable. People mistake this for playing hard to get, but that's not what's happening here. She's not trying to be chased, she's filtering. She's guarding the depth most people don't even know how to swim in. The mystery, it's not a show, it's a line. You either cross it with honesty, or you don't cross it at all. And once she lets you in, you realize it was never about earning her attention, it was about earning her trust. That's what makes her different. That's what makes her aura so powerful, because in a world where everything is on display, she knows the real power is in what remains unseen. Number 2. She moves through the world like she knows something others don't. And most of the time, she actually does. This isn't arrogance, it's awareness. A Sigma female spends a lot of time in her own mind, thinking deeply, asking hard questions, and learning from every corner of her experience. That kind of self-work builds a kind of quiet wisdom. So when she walks into conversations, spaces, or relationships, she isn't easily shaken. You can't pull her into drama or distract her with empty talk. Not because she's cold, but because she's been somewhere deeper, and anything surface level just doesn't hold her attention anymore. Superficiality feels like background noise to her. Small talk, gossip, showing off, it's all static. She doesn't entertain it. She tunes it out without even trying. That's why she might seem distant at first. People often confuse her silence for disinterest, when in reality, she's just filtering what's worth her time. Take this for example. Everyone's at a gathering, laughing, trying to impress each other. She's there too, but she's not fighting for attention. She's sitting back, watching. And while others are performing, she's reading energy, noticing body language, picking up patterns. She sees the gap between what people say and what they actually mean. That quiet perception is her edge. She lives with intention. She's not reactive. She's selective. Her mind is too full of real substance to make room for shallow distractions. While most people are looking for the next big thing to chase, she's focused on building a life that feels right on the inside, not just one that looks good from the outside. Her presence unsettles some people, especially those used to controlling the room with noise or charm. But that's the thing about a Sigma female. She doesn't need to prove anything. And that quiet knowing, that unshakable calm, it's the reason her aura is unlike anything people are used to. And number 3. She embodies quiet intensity. People sense her presence before they even notice her beauty. It's not the kind of energy that begs to be seen. It's the kind that stays with you after she's gone. There's something about the way she carries herself that makes people pause, not because she's trying to be mysterious, but because she doesn't feel the need to over-explain or overshare. She doesn't chase validation, and that alone sets her apart in a world where most people are performing just to be liked. Her aura isn't built on how she looks. It's built on everything she has been through and grown from. That calm you feel when she speaks, that's the result of battles she fought in silence. The way she never overreacts or scrambles for attention, that's wisdom carved from disappointment, heartbreak, and the lessons she never forgot. She knows how to sit with herself. She's had long nights where she faced her own fears, processed her own pain, and came out stronger. That's why she doesn't come off desperate or loud. Her confidence isn't loud, it's rooted. Take a conversation with her, for example. She listens more than she speaks. She watches not to judge, but to understand. People find themselves opening up to her without even knowing why, because her energy feels safe but sharp, gentle but not naive. She doesn't need to dominate the room to have influence. Her stillness does the talking. That quiet intensity makes her unforgettable. It's not her makeup, her clothes, or her voice. It's the feeling you get around her, like she knows exactly who she is, and she's not waiting for the world to agree. That is what makes her aura powerful. Not noise, not drama, just a strong sense of self that cannot be shaken. And once people notice that, they never forget it. Number 4. She never gives people what they expect, only what they earn. That's the thing about a Sigma female. You can't predict her, you can't box her in, and you definitely can't play her. She's not interested in being predictable or playing into other people's expectations. If you come to her with assumptions, you'll walk away confused. Not because she's trying to confuse you, but because she refuses to perform a role that isn't true to her. You don't get access to her just because you're curious. Curiosity isn't enough. You have to bring depth, you have to bring patience, and most of all, you have to bring honesty. People feel drawn to her because she doesn't follow the script. She doesn't respond how most people would. If you expect sweetness, she might give silence. If you expect coldness, she might surprise you with warmth. But it all depends on who you are and what your energy brings to the table. This unpredictability creates something rare, emotional gravity. You never quite know what you'll get from her, and that keeps people alert, invested, and real. You can't be fake around her. She sees through it, and she won't reward it. Think of it like this. Most people give away approval and affection too easily. She doesn't. She makes you show up consistently. She makes you prove you can handle depth, not just charm. And once you earn her trust, you realize something powerful. What she gives is never surface level. When she opens up, when she shares, when she lets you in, it's real. And because it's rare, it matters more. She's not trying to be hard to love. She just knows real connection isn't built on convenience, it's built on effort. That's why people remember her long after she's gone, because nothing about her was automatic. Everything she gave, you earned. Number 5. She's allergic to fake energy. One phony smile, one forced laugh, and she's already emotionally checked out. It's not that she's rude. It's just that her system is wired to reject anything that feels off. Sigma females don't have the patience to sit through shallow performances. If someone's putting on a show, she'll see it instantly, and she won't stick around to applaud. Her energy is clean, unfiltered, sharp. She's not interested in blending in with people who wear masks just to be accepted. So when conversations turn into empty chatter or start drifting toward gossip, she mentally walks out. Not because she thinks she's better, but because she's learned how dangerous it is to shrink into spaces that don't honor truth. That's why her aura stays powerful. She doesn't water herself down just to be liked. She doesn't do fake laughs to keep things light. She doesn't engage in small talk to fill silence. She's comfortable with silence. She'd rather sit in real stillness than fill the room with noise that means nothing. Imagine someone walks up to her at a gathering, giving overly rehearsed compliments or trying too hard to impress. She'll smile politely, but inside she's gone. Because she reads people deeply, not through their words, but through their energy. And if that energy feels forced, she withdraws without apology. She doesn't fake connections. She doesn't fake interest, and she doesn't expect others to pretend either. That's what makes her presence rare. She brings truth into every room she enters, and the moment she feels anything less than real, she protects her peace by stepping back. This is why people remember her, not for what she said, but for how she made them feel. Seen, understood, and most importantly, real. Because when you're with her, you either come correct or you don't come close at all. Number 6. She doesn't try to inspire loyalty. She evokes it just by being unshakably herself. There's no strategy behind it, no calculated charm, no bending over backward to win people over. A Sigma female shows up as she is, with no filter, no performance, and no desire to be anything else. And oddly enough, that's exactly why people end up respecting her. She doesn't sugarcoat her truth to keep anyone comfortable. She doesn't soften her opinions to avoid conflict. She doesn't try to be palatable. She just stands firm in who she is, and that quiet consistency speaks louder than any speech ever could. People often try to figure her out. Why do others seem to trust her judgment? Why do people respect her boundaries without her even needing to raise her voice? Why does her presence feel so grounded, even when she's not trying to lead? It's because she doesn't manipulate. She doesn't perform. She doesn't beg for loyalty. She becomes someone you want to follow without being asked. Take a group setting, for example. While others are busy trying to win approval, dominate conversations, or show off accomplishments, she's just sitting there, present and at ease. She speaks when it matters. She listens like it matters even more. And people feel that. They pick up on that rare stability, the kind that isn't built overnight. The reason people trust her is simple. She doesn't fake anything. You know where she stands, you know who she is. And in a world full of mixed signals and masks, that level of honesty feels like leadership. She doesn't build a following. She builds respect, not by demanding it, not by performing for it, but by being so real, so grounded, and so untouchable that people naturally choose to stay close. That's the kind of power you can't imitate. You have to be it. Number 7. Her pain didn't make her bitter. It made her surgical. She doesn't carry her wounds like weapons. She carries them like lessons. Every cut, every betrayal, every heartbreak taught her something sharp. And instead of letting those experiences harden her or turn her cold, she used them to refine her vision. She now sees clearly what adds to her life and what slowly drains her. When something or someone no longer serves her peace, she doesn't beg. She doesn't throw tantrums. She doesn't make a scene. She just removes it, quietly, cleanly, and with precision. No guilt, no second guessing, no emotional mess left behind. That's what makes her powerful. She doesn't cling to what hurts. She lets go, not out of anger, but out of wisdom. Imagine someone who once meant the world to her suddenly turns into a source of stress or chaos. The old version of her might have fought harder to fix it, to keep it together, to save what's clearly falling apart, but not anymore. Now she detaches with grace. She's not cutting people off to punish them. She's doing it to protect herself. And the way she does it, calm, clean, controlled. Like a surgeon removing what threatens the body. No emotional outburst, no drama, just clarity. People are often confused by how quickly she walks away, but that's because they don't see the inner process, the sleepless nights, the quiet realizations, the silent strength it took to finally choose herself. Her aura stays powerful because she doesn't hold on to what weighs her down. She doesn't need closure when her peace is at risk. She knows how to leave, not because she's heartless, but because she's healed. That's the difference. Pain didn't destroy her. It taught her how to be precise with her energy, and now she only makes room for what truly deserves her. Number 8. Her self-awareness is almost dangerous. Not because she's looking for flaws in others, but because she's already dissected every inch of herself. She knows her triggers. She knows her patterns. She's faced the ugly parts that most people try to avoid. And that kind of internal honesty, it builds a sharp kind of clarity that's impossible to fake. She's the type to catch herself mid-thought and question her own motives. She doesn't need someone else to call her out. She does it first. That's the level of accountability she lives with. And it's what gives her that edge most people can't quite explain. You can't manipulate someone who's already done the hard work of understanding themselves. You can't twist a story when she's already filtered it through logic and instinct. She reads the energy behind words. She notices tone shifts, hesitation, micro-expressions. You might be talking, but she's listening to everything between your words. And here's the thing. If you're trying to lie to her, you're already 2 moves behind. She might not call you out right away. She might even let you keep talking. But deep down, she's already done the math. She already knows the truth. It's not that she doesn't trust people, she just trusts herself more. Her self-awareness is her protection. It keeps her from falling into traps that others don't even see. And when she moves away from someone, it's rarely a reaction. It's a decision, a quiet conclusion drawn from everything she observed that others missed. Her aura feels intense because it's grounded in truth, raw, honest, and often uncomfortable. People feel exposed around her, even if she's being kind, because deep down they sense she sees more than she says, and that right there is what makes her unforgettable. She doesn't just read the room. She reads herself first, and that self-mastery is what makes her impossible to deceive. Number 9. She doesn't wear her achievements, she wears her scars, and that's exactly what makes her magnetic. While others lead with their trophies and talk about who they know, what they've done, or how successful they are, she moves differently. Her story isn't loud, her wins aren't on display, because she knows the real value doesn't come from what people see. It comes from what she's endured and how she chose to rise after it. People can't quite explain it, but they feel it. This quiet strength she carries like a second skin. There's a certain calm in her that doesn't come from a perfect life. It comes from surviving the kind of pain most people don't even talk about. You can see it in her eyes, that depth, that knowing, that sense that she's been through things that changed her at the core but didn't break her. She didn't come out bitter or vengeful. She came out sharper, softer in the right ways, stronger in the ways that matter. Someone once tried to dim her light. Someone once betrayed her trust. Life has handed her storms she didn't ask for, but instead of hiding the damage, she used it to shape her. Her scars became her map, and instead of covering them up, she wears them like a quiet badge, not to prove anything, but to remind herself of everything she's made it through. People may not know her story, but they can feel the weight of it, and that's why she stands out. She doesn't need applause. She doesn't need attention. Her presence alone speaks volumes, because in a world obsessed with perfection, she offers something different, proof that beauty can come from pain, and that the strongest souls are often the ones carrying stories they've never had to say out loud. Number 10. She's not here to compete, she's here to disrupt. She doesn't measure herself against anyone, not because she thinks she's above them, but because comparison simply isn't her language. While others are locked in silent battles for attention, approval, and validation, she's off building a life that feels right to her. She's not trying to be better than anyone. She's not keeping score. She's not watching who's winning or losing. She's too focused on being honest with herself, too busy creating her own rhythm. And in a world where people are constantly trying to outdo each other, that kind of authenticity feels like a shockwave. She walks her own road, and that road isn't paved with trends, popularity, or social rules. It's paved with her values, her standards, her truth. She doesn't chase what looks good. She chases what feels real. People don't always understand her. Some feel threatened by her confidence. Others try to figure her out, expecting to find some hidden agenda. But there isn't one. She's not playing the game at all, and that's why she can't be touched. Take this in. While someone else is working overtime to stay relevant or likable, she's quietly building something no one saw coming. Not louder, not flashier, just different. That's the power of disruption. It doesn't compete. It doesn't copy. It doesn't wait for permission. It just shows up and shifts everything without warning, and that's her. A Sigma female doesn't need to win in someone else's game. She's too busy rewriting the rules. That's what makes her rare. That's what makes her powerful. She doesn't seek to dominate. She simply refuses to shrink. And by being unapologetically herself, she becomes the kind of force people feel long after she's left the room. Number 11. They don't adapt to rooms. They alter the atmosphere just by existing in it. And no, it's not because they're loud or demanding attention. In fact, it's usually the opposite. A Sigma female can walk into a space, say almost nothing, and still make people feel unsettled or awakened. Why? Because her presence doesn't blend in. It confronts. Her energy holds a kind of raw honesty that makes people subtly question themselves. Not because she's judging, but because she's deeply aware. While others are focused on being liked or accepted, she's scanning the room on a different frequency. She picks up on the tension no one's addressing, the fake smiles, the performative kindness, the insecure ego hiding behind loud jokes. And her stillness brings it all into focus. People feel it when she's near. They start adjusting their tone, rethinking what they say, or wondering if she sees through them. And most of the time she does. That alone shifts the energy. It's not about intimidation, it's about truth. And truth, even when silent, disrupts comfort zones. Imagine being in a circle of people laughing at a tired joke, trying to impress each other, all pretending to be more confident than they are. She's there too, but she's not playing along. She's observing, calm and rooted. That alone makes people self-conscious. Not because she's trying to expose them, but because her presence makes people aware of their own masks. That's her gift. She doesn't force her power. She is her power. And without trying to lead or dominate, she ends up doing both, just by being the one person in the room who isn't pretending. Number 12. She doesn't fear being misunderstood, and that alone makes her unstoppable. See, most people are trapped in the exhausting habit of explaining themselves. They try to prove they're good, prove they're smart, prove they meant well. But a Sigma female, she let go of that a long time ago. She understands something most people never figure out. The deeper you are, the more likely you'll be misread by people who only live on the surface. She's not afraid of being judged. She's not bothered when someone thinks she's too quiet, too cold, or too intense. Why? Because she knows who she is, and once you know who you are, you stop begging other people to see you clearly. Imagine she's in a conversation and someone throws a passive comment her way, trying to label her. Maybe they call her standoffish or say she's hard to approach. The old version of her might have explained, might have tried to soften her edges. But now, she simply smiles and keeps moving, not because she's dismissive, but because she no longer trades her energy for the comfort of people who don't care to look deeper. Her power comes from letting people think what they want, while she continues living in her truth. She knows that those who genuinely want to understand her will take the time, and those who don't, they were never meant to get that close anyway. That unbothered clarity, that ability to let misunderstanding pass without reacting, is what gives her that rare kind of peace. She's not here to be palatable, she's here to be real, and that's why her aura hits different. It's not just strength, it's wisdom, it's restraint. It's the kind of quiet self-possession that makes people pause, question their assumptions, and realize she was never trying to be seen. She was just being true. In final words, they don't adapt to rooms, they alter the atmosphere just by existing in it. And no, it's not because they're loud or demanding attention. In fact, it's usually the opposite. A Sigma female can walk into a space, say almost nothing, and still make people feel unsettled or awakened. Why? Because her presence doesn't blend in, it confronts. Her energy holds a kind of raw honesty that makes people subtly question themselves. Not because she's judging, but because she's deeply aware. While others are focused on being liked or accepted, she's scanning the room on a different frequency. She picks up on the tension no one's addressing, the fake smiles, the performative kindness, the insecure ego hiding behind loud jokes, and her stillness brings it all into focus. People feel it when she's near. They start adjusting their tone, rethinking what they say, or wondering if she sees through them, and most of the time she does. That alone shifts the energy. It's not about intimidation, it's about truth. And truth, even when silent, disrupts comfort zones. Imagine being in a circle of people laughing at a tired joke, trying to impress each other, all pretending to be more confident than they are. She's there too, but she's not playing along. She's observing, calm and rooted. That alone makes people self-conscious. Not because she's trying to expose them, but because her presence makes people aware of their own masks. That's her gift. She doesn't force her power. She is her power. And without trying to lead or dominate, she ends up doing both, just by being the one person in the room who isn't pretending. Thank you for watching The Rare Gems, and God bless you.